All right, today we're going to build a preset from scratch with the Pod Go. So if you have a Pod Go, follow along. This will be a free preset for you of some of my favorite things. But we're also going to learn some things that I've been getting questions about as far as FootSwitch assignments. So let's get into it. All right, so let's go pick an amp. And I like to either pick a really clean amp and then add my drives, my compression, my wet effects to it. Depends on also the guitar I'm playing with. And then sometimes I like that amp already edge of breakup, as everyone in the world says. And then I run my drives accordingly. So I kind of want to pick something I haven't picked in a while. I know I have not messed with the Grammatico in a while, or the Derailed, even the Dr. Z. There's something that sticks out to me. We also have some new amps, Line 6 amps. Seems like I remember this Elmsley being pretty good. Yeah, it has this depth on it. So let's just dial that in real quick. Let's see what that did for us. What's it sound like? I am going to back up the drive, back up the bass, bring up the crossover, and then I like a little more treble. Maybe a little more presence. I'm gonna mess with the depth in this NFB. It's been a while, but I think they're just different frequencies and boosts, I believe. I didn't practice this ahead of time. I just thought I'd pick a different amp, but I don't really like this amp. I mean, it's fine, but let's pick a different amp because I'm not feeling that one this morning. The Cartographer is always good. I like this, but I like to clean it up a bit. So let's do that. First of all, you hear that hiss? You can get rid of that with the noise gate, the input gate. Yeah. Okay. High gain. Let's bring this down. Where are we at now? I like that. I like that. That sounds pretty good. Bring this drive down. Now that's what I'm looking for in an amp right there. Okay, and then we can mess with the these things. It's already got a ribbon mic on it. Let's do the 121. We can do this most beefy mic, the 4038. The closer you are to the cone, the brighter. Further out, the darker. The closer you are to the speaker, like distance-wise, this way, the closer you are, the more bass response you will have, and the more you back it up, the less. So, like, let's say you like it more towards the outside, but it's too muddy, you can begin backing it up and it'll remove some of that bass. So let's just play with that a little bit. kind of like that. Let's go with that right there. Now, in the Pod Go, we are stuck with these blocks. I do have a jailbreak preset in my Expanse Pack. If you don't know what the Expanse Pack is, it's an ever-growing collection of presets for the Pod Go. You pay once, but you get free updates for life. So there's a jailbreak. Actually, you can see it right there. Boom, jailbreak. But I want to save what we have. Let's say before I click off of here. Name this HWL. What are we doing today? What amp was that? Cart 4. Now we got to decide what we want to do. We already have this EQ. Let's save that. Let's add some wet effects. I'm going to add some worship reverb. I've said this in many videos. I like the dynamic hall just the way it is. Now you can tweak it if you want. This is already a really good reverb. Sometimes I like to crank the room size up a bit, get rid of, or put the diffusion all the way max. If you want some of those higher frequencies of the reverb, you release the dampening, or if you want to control that, you bring this down. That sounds pretty good. Let's turn the trails on. That way, if it's a long, long tail, we can click it off and it keeps going. Okay, about 4 seconds. That's where it was at. Now let's do a delay. There are several good delays. If you're trying to save on DSP, the simple delay is great. I don't think we're worried about that in this preset. I don't think. So we're gonna go to one of my favorites is typically the transistor tape, typically the vintage digital, but I want to do the Adriatic delay. This is Ben Adrian's delay. I like setting things at 1/4 and putting it to a scale of 75, which gives you a dotted eighth on top of it. Yeah, let's hear what we got so far. Turn the reverb off for us. I love it because it's kind of got, well, this is too much, but if you want it more pristine, you'll raise this number. Which I love that. I can maybe turn the noise down. Let's see what happens if you turn it up. Mix is good. I always turn the headroom up so we don't have any weird artifacts that we may not want. Spread. Depth. This will be a modulation. If you think that's too much, you can just take the depth all the way out. I like that. We'll also turn the trails on. Now we have this tone right here. I like it. Sounds pretty good. Now, I feel like this amp needs a little more life. We may do that with controls. I don't know yet, but I want a compressor. I do know I want a compressor. I tend to like the Kinky Comp because it's pretty easy. Bring the sensitivity down a little bit. We can bring the mix down as well. This is like a blend here. If your attack is all the way off, you're gonna lose the transient of your pick attack. So I like to have a short attack, but not too short. And then the release somewhere in here. I like to make sure that my volume is about equal. So that's about equal right there. What I mean by equal is when I click it on, you can hear the volume comes up. That's because I've already struck the chord and it's starting to trail off, and the compression just raises that up as it trails off. But the dynamics are about the same. That's what compression does. So since we're stuck with this EQ, there are a few things I like to do. One is you can put it at the end of the chain and just use it for final sculpting. Sometimes I will do this and depending on what guitar I'm using. If I'm using my Telecaster and it's got plenty of low end and high end, but it needs a little in the mids, I will do like maybe this mid boost, something like this, little mid hump, and just kind of EQ for which guitar I'm playing. Or the other way around. Maybe I want it to be mid scooped. Kind of just being able, before you leave, fix whatever frequencies that you want to fix. I'm gonna bring it back. Oh, another thing I like to do is to do this low high shelf. So everything below like 500 or so, decrease a couple dB, and then everything above 500 or 700, increase a few dB. And it's like this bright switch that helps you stand out in the mix sometimes. So if you're like, ooh, I like this, let's just hear it in context. Just adds a bit of presence. So that's one thing you can do with it. In this preset though, I'm going to put it right before the amp and right before the volume so that my drives are before the volume, which is what I like. And then you can use it as a drive, kind of like I was doing before, where you can use it as your own tube screamer. So you can actually send 4 dB of increase and boost these mids a good bit. Let's see what that sounds like. Turn our wet effects off. And then you may not need to use a drive. We could save this for another effect like modulation, or if you want more drive options. So you have a drive right there, and then we can also mess with the drive on the amp itself. So for me, I'd be like, that's enough drive options. I have my pickup selector, I have my clean tone, I have my drive tone, I have amp drive I could mess with. That's plenty of drive options. Let's pick either another reverb or delay, and you can see we're running out of DSP. So if I wanted to change this, I would probably pick a less DSP heavy delay, and we are going to, just for this sake, because we're just teaching today. The simple delay takes up a lot less room. Quarter feedback, bring that up a little bit. 75, just like we had before. It just sounds like this. You could also have a foot switch toggle this just to keep it at a quarter. A little trick right there, if you want it at 100 but you bring it down to 99, it adds this width that you don't normally get. So I'm gonna bring it back up to 100. Kind of cool little trick. And then you could save a foot switch to toggle this. So let's just say foot switch 1. We could toggle this between a quarter. You can move these little arrows. I wish they were just a little bit bigger. And then move this up to dotted 8 if you wanted. Nice. I'm kind of getting ahead of myself because I'm going to end this video with some foot switch assignments. But let's pick out see if that opened up any more. It did. It opened up a lot more of these modulation. Not enough to do the retro reel, which we probably could save. I may have picked a heavy amp. The cartographer's got all these extra things. This dynamic hall is heavier than like the glitz, but let's pick with what we have. Let's stick with what we have. I love the dimension chorus. I use it all the time. This vibe here is kind of fun. Could do some pitch stuff and put it towards the beginning. You know what? I might do that. Let's do that. Let's keep the pitch at the beginning. We could even do a dual pitch, which is kind of cool. Let's just do that. Let's bring this up to 12. What I like to do is that you can put this pitch on during your lead stuff and add just a little bit of extra. So actually, let me go to the simple pitch just to show you what I mean. We'll go 12 up, which is just an octave up. There's no delay, no sense back and forth, keeping it off tune. Shift levels all the way up, and the mix is half and half. So we're getting half of our tone and half of the pitch. And so in your lead tone, you could have. Which that sounds pretty cool. You can just either take down the shift level and blend it however much you want. I will say that in isolation, when we're just sitting here in a room, things might sound a little strong, but then when you get to the venue where you're playing live, you need more than you think you do. So that's pretty cool. I think that's a good preset. So what I want to do is we have some FootSwitch assignments. Let's go here and see what we have. And I want to take everything off. Let's just remove everything. See all assignments. Take that one off. We're not going to use our effects loop, so we're going to take that one off. Now what I want to say is normally I would use FootSwitches just to turn on and off my effects, but you don't have to do that. You can use different FootSwitches to turn things on and off, but also to affect parameters. So what I wanted to do today is use like the top 3 buttons on the Pod Go, and I'll show you with the camera, for turning things on and off, and the bottom 3 for moving different parameters around. So we are going to do this. I'm going to toggle this one with FootSwitch 1, just on and off. That's our drive. I'm going to toggle this one, FootSwitch 2, and this one right here, our reverb, FootSwitch 3. So now we have our 3 effects. We're able to turn things on and off. So everything's off right now. With FootSwitch 4, this one down here, I want to, this is kind of like, this is a drive right here. I want more drive. So I'm going to FootSwitch 4, toggle this from where it is and give us even more drive with the amp. Okay. So now this FootSwitch toggles the amp drive up and down. So another layer of drive. Let's save what we have. And then I want to go back and do what we did before. So this note sync, I want that to be FootSwitch 5 and go right under it. So we did this before. Quarter, boom, like that. And then with our reverb, we have on and off, but what else could we do? Well, normally it's the mix that I want to turn up and down, and or the decay. Right now I want to do the mix. So the mix on FootSwitch 6, and then bring it up to 50. Anything over 50 is too much. Like your main tone starts to drop after that. So now we have all these different things that we can do. Everything is off. This is what it sounds like. That sounds amazing. So as you can see, I stacked the Kali EQ and the amp drive just to get another layer of drive. Let's turn our delay and reverb on. Now that's already a pretty thick reverb. Again, when you're playing live, a lot of these effects kind of disappear, especially in the mix. And so that may seem like it's really wet. And if you want it less wet, then you can just go ahead and like bring this down. And now it'll stay like less reverby. And then when you're ready to change your delay to maybe dotted eighth, you can do that, and or you can bring up that hall reverb mix. thing I want to do is that we never toggled on our pitch. And so I want my pitch to be attached to this amp drive. When I kick on this amp drive, it's for my lead tone. And so that is FootSwitch 4. So I'm going to toggle this on with FootSwitch 4 as well. That way, my lead tone And there you have it. What'd you think? Let me know down in the comments. If you want to check out a lot of presets that I've put together, check out the Expanse Pack. It also comes with a community now, so people are able to like share their rig, share the sounds that they're getting out of the Expanse Pack. Go check it out. Click the link down below. I will see you in the next video. Goodbye.